That brings us to day number 4, with the stellar bodies, the galaxies, the blazing suns, the orbiting planets, the moon above the earth, all wonderfully designed. I had previously indicated to you that within the very nature of light and the atoms and the distances in space, within the atom and outside the atom, there are vibratory oscillations. There's music. It's a symphonic chorus of violins throughout the entire universe. Thus, as God placed the stellar bodies in their position, it is logical to recognize that they too would have the vibratory oscillations, because the very nature of their atomic structure, the very nature of the energy that they emit or reflect is all vibratory in nature. In fact, it has been found in very special studies by Kepler and modern studies that the alignment of the planets and the orbit of the planets around the sun indicate a perfect musical scale. Now remember, I say perfect, it is approximately perfect. We're going to see shortly that the earth and the entire universe have been vibrated, have been shaken out of their original positions to some limited degree. Therefore, one of the planets is missing today, and we have an asteroid belt in its place. We'll learn more about that in the near future. But watch this. This crystalline firmament, created on day number 2 and appreciated on day number 3 of creation, had some very special characteristics. It was crystalline. It was hydrogen bonded into a crystalline lattice, superconductive in nature, fiber optic, because scientific research shows that if you maintain an energy field in a crystal, transparent crystal, and most of the firmament, rakia above the earth, was transparent, you actually have a fiber optic transfer so that the night is twilight rather than midnight blackness. That means that these plants, in their biological rhythms, would not have the total darkness, but in the rest time would have a gentle bathing of light. What kind of light would it be? Hydrogen glows pink. Magenta, 63, 65 angstrom magenta. Also, if you compress the atmosphere, the long wave radiation gets through, the short wave is scattered, so you see the color in a compressed atmosphere that you see shortly before sunrise. It's a gentle, beautiful pink. What I'm saying is that the sky before the flood, the sky in the original creation, was a designed pink, gentle pinkish hue. That does not mean that everything looked pink, but there was a gentle distribution of the long wave radiation. Botanists have found that it is the red or pink level of radiation that triggers the growth and reproductive cells of plants. Class, did you get that? If it has been found to the satisfaction of botanists that warming the roots of plants just a few degrees above ambient temperature increases the growth and reproductive nature of the plants, and if it has been found by botanists that bathing with a long wave radiation, gentle pinkish glow in particular, increases the growth and reproductive cells of plants, no wonder in the fossil record we find everything being larger. Today there's a little plant we call the lycopsid club moss. The tallest we can grow it is about 18 inches in stature. Yet, in the fossil record, that same plant got up to 120 feet in stature. No wonder everything was larger. But let's go beyond that. This crystalline firmament, with the energy field and with the sun approaching it at different degrees because of the rotation, means that you have all the ingredients for a transistor or for a crystalline radio receiver. You can make a crystalline radio receiver just by taking a crystal, a quartz rock, has to be a good one. You wind copper coil around that, generating a field. You don't even have to have external energy. then you can use a little pen. And if you get the angle just right, that pen being the receiver, you can actually pick up the local radio station. I've done it when I was a kid. All of these elements were in the firmament. Therefore, when the Scripture says in Job chapter 38, verse 7, that the morning stars sang together, there is a plausibility to the model. If there is in the planets an oscillating regular rhythm that closely approximates the musical scale so that the tones would be felt on a basis depending on the seasons, if the radio stars give off radio signals, and they do, then there is a mechanism in place to actually receive those signals, and because of the acoustics involved in the crystalline structure, if the angle is just right, there is a plausibility to actually hear some of the notes and some of the tones. An Italian physicist, Rela, did an amazing work. She took the signals from radio stars, enhanced them, audibilized them, and she stated, we're being hugged by cosmic vibrations. She actually was able to reproduce the sound. Now remember, because of what occurred at the flood, we have had a jarring of the heavens. We've had a disturbance in the heavens. So the sounds would not be identical to those that would have been received in the original orchestration. I'm convinced that the work of Beethoven, Schubert, Bach would more perfectly synthesize the creation than would much of our modern distortion of music. So on day number 4, God coalesced the energy of the light that was already vibrating in nature into star bodies, into galaxies, into beautiful heavens. Now there's evidence found in recent astrophysics that to the galactic north there are huge voids with very few stars. Then there are shells of star clusters, and then another void, and then another shell, hundreds of millions of light years apart. Dr. Hutchings and others were amazed as they mapped the heavens in 3 dimensions, that to the galactic north there were 7 separate shells of star clusters, and to the galactic south there were 7 separate shells of star clusters. Why 7? Why not 6 or 8 or 10? Written into the very nature of life are 7s. Written into the weak, the biological structure, are 7s. Written into the gestation period of mammals and man are 7s. Written into the very oscillating rhythm of life itself are 7s. Thus, it would be logical that in the stellar bodies you would have 7 spheres of material whose vibrations we receive. That is not to indicate that astrology is based in fact. You're not influenced by the conjunctions of the stars for your behavior and your conduct. But from a physiological standpoint, we are being hugged by energy in vibration and symphony that God designed originally for the benefit of all living systems. Day number 4.